Hello, Robin from Localdiscs here. This video is for absolute beginners, and it's some important information about how to start throwing a disc golf disc. There's a ton of information out there, and I want to keep it simple. There are 4 things we're going to talk about today very quickly. So number 1, this is really important. It's the hardware you're using, the disc you choose to throw. This is a really important point because a lot of people will choose the wrong disc early on, and it will really limit the fun they can have and the success that they'll have. So most people are familiar with a traditional Frisbee. We sometimes call them a lid. As you can see, they're very different in shape and appearance to a disc golf disc, and they fly very differently. So if you're approaching the sport from knowing how to throw one of these, you will have to learn how to throw one of these. Many people will buy very fast discs when they start, like the RPM Kahoo. This is like a supercar. This is a very fast motorbike, and you will write yourself off. Do not start with this disc. In our range, there are a number of fantastic discs for beginners that are more similar to the old-fashioned lid. RPM Ruru, RPM Tui, for example. This is like the family sedan. Safe place to start. So now that we've chosen an appropriate disc for a beginner, we're going to talk about grip, and I'll be demonstrating this with this beautiful RPM P Waka Waka, a very safe and sensible beginner disc. So there are 2 main grips you should be familiar with, and generally you want to pick one and stick with it for a while until you feel comfortable with it. For accuracy, many people will use what's called a fan grip. So some way, and there's a million different ways to grip a disc, but a fan grip is where the fingers can be splayed out. A few of the fingers or all of the fingers with the thumb firmly pressed on top. This will give you great accuracy because you've got a nice loose wrist, but you cannot generate as much power. It'll pop out of the hand early. But a fan grip for closer shots, for accurate shots, this is very similar to a putting grip. Those fingers spread out. It's a beautiful way to control the disc. The other grip to be familiar with is called the power grip. The key here is that all 4 fingers are actually tucked into the rim and the thumb is planted firmly on top. So it feels quite natural, and it's a way to keep maximum grip so you can have maximum power on release. You can play around with it. People have variations on this, but fan grip will be those spread out fingers, thumb further in, maximum control. Power grip is fingers tucked in, thumb a bit further out, maximum power. So you've chosen an appropriate beginner's disc. You've got a firm grip on that disc. Now we're going to talk about the upper body. So when you've thrown an old-fashioned Frisbee in the past, your body's doing a certain set of movements. The movements are very different for a disc golf disc. So the most important thing here is to work on one flat level. Most beginners will step up. They think to get power, they have to reach down. They'll release up here, and the disc will go high in the air and go about 40 meters and stop. These are wings. They're rotating wings. Effectively, they will generate their own lift. You can throw it very flat, and it will go surprisingly far if you've selected the right disc. So the way to do this with the upper body, when you pick a target out in the field, your reach back should move in a straight line away from it, and then you accelerate through and you release flat and level. If you can work on that straight, flat and level, you'll get some very satisfactory flights early on. The most common error we see with a beginner throwing a disc golf disc is they try to coil up to generate their power. You do have to rotate the body, but if you're actually coiling up like this, odds are you will release it at some wild point over here and it won't go very far. This is a game of accuracy and then power. We don't want to overload you with information, but feet are incredibly important. The lower body is actually where most of the power in the throw comes from. So some players choose to throw what we call standstill. They don't move their feet at all. They stand still, pick the target and throw. This is a good way to start with accuracy, but most people want to start moving their body. Today, we will just introduce the concept of the X step and how you use that to move towards the target and generate some power. It's a very simple move. You don't have to have a disc in your hand to be doing it. You can do it at home. Many a passionate disc golfer has been seen walking around their house working on their X step. Quite a simple movement. Watch what I do. There's lots of videos about this online. Basically 3 important steps. The non-dominant foot will move behind the dominant foot, and then you plant and throw. And you can practice this motion as much as you want without a disc in your hand. This is how you get power and consistency. All right, so putting it all together, 4 important things. A sensible disc, RPM Waka Waka is a fantastic option. A sensible grip, power grip if you're trying to throw it a little bit further, fan grip if you want more control. I'll use a power grip today. Upper body and lower body, like so. 1, 2, 3, through.